Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Ben, and I put out videos like this at least once a week, so if you enjoy what you see here today, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Tonight, my TW200 is going to get some much needed love and attention. The carb on this thing has been leaking, well, since before I bought the bike, and it was just a slow drip until a couple days ago. I don't know what happened here, if this is actually just the main seal, or if something else is going on, but I'm hoping we can address that. I actually bought the gasket to fix it immediately after I bought the bike, and then I also picked up the ProCycle needle jet kit. Now, other than a uni air filter, I don't have anything done as far as performance mods to the bike so far, so I'm just gonna go with the 125 main and the 34 pilot like the instructions recommend for a stock bike. It also says to put one shim underneath the needle clip, and I'm a little bit confused about the situation that we've got going on here. So this is the shim, and on top there is the needle clip, and then there's a little piece of plastic. It doesn't really seem like that wants to come off, so I guess I'm gonna leave that on there. It doesn't reference that at all, so I guess we'll see what happens. So with the bike still running, I shut the fuel off, but we're still gonna have some left down in the bowl, so I will have to crack the drain plug loose right here, and then that'll all come out well, most of it anyways, will come out the drain tube. Now, you definitely want to make sure you wear your safety glasses. I have splashed myself in the eyes with gasoline before. It is not fun. And you also want to make sure you use the screwdriver from your toolkit. It's not a regular Phillips. I believe it's a JIS. And this will definitely make it a lot easier to not strip out these tiny fasteners. Still dripping. Seems like that's stopped. We'll snug this back up. So over here on the opposite side of the bike, I need to get these two cables out of this spindle here. So to do that, I just need to loosen these guys up. Just pushes back. That'll come out. With a little persuasion, that one should come out super easy then. So now with everything loosened up and removed, this should spin this way. Flash relay out of the way. There, plenty of room. I think there's going to be a spring on here. I'm going to keep that pressed tight. Tilt that a little bit over so nothing falls in there. Whoops, I think that was all we lost. It must go in like that. And what do you know? There's our matching little piece of plastic on there. So I think that answers that question. So the needle on the right side is the old one. On the left is the new one with the new shim on it. It looks like it's just a hair longer. I guess a couple hairs longer. Let's see if I can get that in there without losing the shim. Then of course you want to make sure that the spring ends up over a little pawl in the center here. Two little pins that locate that. Seems like we found those. Are these plastic? I think they are. I think rather than removing this, I'm just going to tuck it up over the idle screw there. There. I'm just going to kind of wipe this all up a little bit just so my hands aren't so messy when I'm working with it. Still might end up with a little bit of fluid coming out. I'm going to crack these loose just a little bit at a time each. Hopefully. Don't need to be that tight, I don't think. There we go. Now our idle screw is going to come off here. it straight off so we don't mess with the float. Oh boy, that's dirty in there. Yeah, that seal definitely failed. Not too gunky in the bottom. A few little particles here and there. So even if this is not leaking, I would suggest picking up one of these new seals before you do this. Oh yeah, that's not in good shape. It's more dirt than it is rubber. So what we're after here now is gonna be this guy and his little next door neighbor there. So we're gonna pull both of those out and replace them with the nuke jets. You wanna use the biggest screwdriver that you can possibly fit down there so you don't strip it. Definitely don't want these real tight, because they're brass. There is the 34 going back in. Easy does it. And that appears to be a 7. Hey, does that look familiar? There's our needle. The jet itself is just gonna be that top portion. I really should have grabbed that with a wrench, but I didn't want to mess with it. I figured it wouldn't be a big deal if it came out anyways. Looks like an 8. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, they don't need to be that tight. Look who's talking. I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in first. And there it is, the 125. I'm gonna use a bigger screwdriver for this, so we don't mess up the head. So then I'll just clean up the mess that I've got going on around here, and we'll put it back together. It might be kind of hard to see on the camera, but there is a little bit of a rib on one side of the seal, and it seemed like that was on the top side, the one that I pulled off the bike. All right, back on it goes. Of course, holding this tight so it doesn't slide around and drop anything anywhere we don't want it. We'll just touch these down and then snug them up in a crisscross pattern, all while holding the bowl tight to the top of the carb. There we are. Oh, balls! Apparently I forgot something. And the instructions didn't say anything about it, but I think maybe under this cap here is where the air screw is. If you want to adjust that, I believe you just have to drill a hole in that and pull it out. If I run into any issues, I'll look into it further, but we'll see how it does like it is. Stick my drain line back on here. Snip the bit of the end off just so it grabs a little bit better. Get this guy back down here where it belongs, and we'll give this a spin. There we are. So now I've just got to adjust these back to the point where they each have a little bit of slack in them. And then snug these up, and snug those up. That's a little better. So just double check my position here, making sure that that tab up here is in the center of the slot in the boot. And then we'll tighten up our clamps. Then we'll turn the fuel back to on. And fire this thing up and take it for a ride. I know, I need a new battery. The power!
Yeah, I think this thing definitely seems like it has some more power. It's doing pretty good out here.